Hey there, everybody. Welcome to episode 23 of Make Me Like This. It's been a while, Jeff. It's been about probably 11 months since our last episode, but we're here. We're back at it. We're getting into the holiday swing of things, winding down for the year. And this time, we are live on YouTube and we're live on Twitch. You might be listening to this after the fact on your favorite podcasting app. But we're opening the doors to all kinds of possibilities. Jeff, how you doing today?
Doing great. Was our last episode making you like the greatest Christmas movie of all time?
I think it was New Year's resolutions. So I think we're bordering on a full-on year. And it's okay. You've obviously gotten into reclaimed wood and barn door decorating because you're sitting in front of a really nicely painted door there with an arrow.
Yeah. I built
fabulous
a barn
way to kick this off.
Last talked to
you. Fantastic. Well, usually what we do on this show is we have a topic and then we try to make the other person like something. It could be pickle sandwiches. It could be wearing your glasses. It could be Will Smith. Everyone likes Will Smith, but might be someone out there who doesn't. This time we've got a very special guest who's going to make us like something. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for our special guest, Mr. Keedy. Mr. Keedy, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Hello, it's good to see you both.
It's great to see you too. Way to bring the energy. Bring it up.
Okay.
I'm here. I got a thing for you to like.
I'm alive. I'm still alive. I guess I do have some energy left.
Is that what you're going to make us
I'm
like?
glad you do.
You're still alive? That's going to be a quick show.
I don't have to convince you to like that, but are you ready for my suggestion already?
Yeah, we're ready. Let's hear it.
Okay, well, I've been thinking of this topic off and on for a while, and I want you both to like the concept of and the using of the bidet, the European way of cleaning off your foul-smelling effluent. So you both may be devotees of this device already, but I think you're both young men. I know you're married, so it doesn't matter a lot if you smell, in the intimate times or other times. But I understand the bidet it freshens your bottom. It saves money on toilet paper. I don't think you could beat a bidet.
You can't beat it.
Can't beat it.
I feel like this is a somewhat recent development in your life. Is this you haven't always been a bidet user, right? Is this just since the pandemic that you've become a bidet user?
No, I don't use the bidet myself. But I've been thinking. I once heard a friend of all of ours mentioned the advantages of this, and I've been thinking about it ever since. And my main opposition to the bidet, even though I would like you to like the bidet, is that I don't understand how you then wipe yourself dry after using it. And does that mean you have this towel especially set aside for that, and everyone who comes in there wipes himself with the same towel, and therefore depositing your...
This is peak Mr. Keedy, where you set up a thesis of why we should like the bidet and then begin to tear your thesis down.
Well, I think that's the way you should look at all problems. Then it helps us understand it more thoroughly. Like, Jeff, have you ever used a bidet?
I've never I've never used a bidet, and I actually feel like taking your words and saying I like the idea of a bidet, but have never used the bidet.
Brandon, where
The
do you stand on the bidet?
Yeah, my aunt and uncle, my uncle who just passed away recently, um, he they've had a bidet for decades, as long as I've known. So we, have gone over to their house, and I'm like, "What is this thing?"
Yeah.
And I asked my dad, I was like, "Why is there like a water fountain in their toilet?" And he's like, "Oh, it's a bidet." And I was like, what is that for?" And they travel all over the world and are accustomed to finer things like that. And yeah, it's just there was no soiled hand towel next to the toilet for
Oh,
drying off. I think, and I could be wrong about this, but you use the water, you turn it on. So I to answer your question, no, I've never used it. I may have like turned it. I know I turned it on to see how far I
probably
could get it
you played with it.
to
Yeah.
shoot across the room,
Sure.
but I never used it on my own backside, and I think that you turn the water on, it cleans you up down there, and then maybe you just take a piece of toilet paper and dab it dry or something. Like you're not using as much, right? Because you're not doing the heavy lifting with that. But perhaps it's just you dry it off.
You know what? That wouldn't work. The toilet paper would stick to you,
Mhm.
and
You
I,
think so?
although I still like this idea in theory, uh, I've never even seen one. I have been to Europe, but none of the fine establishments I stayed at had bidets. So maybe I should have gone to France or some place like that where I think they are full on used all the time in France. Just I have a feeling about that, but
Yeah, I think the Europeans are very very bidet friendly.
yeah.
I do have a browser pulled up here, and a couple of really good questions here right at the forefront when you log in. So people are obviously asking this, but it says, "Do bidets spray poop everywhere?"
Huh.
And the answer is no. Bidets don't spray poop everywhere when you use them. Bidets use a concentrated stream of water specifically directed to cleanse your backside and wait, your genitals too? How does this
Oh,
work? The waste does not get sprayed all over. Think of it as a safe, spotless wash for your butt. That raises more questions than it does
I
answers.
think it's bringing in the sexual component into bidet use, and
Yeah.
I don't want to go there. So
Yeah, they're talking about a genital car wash there, and I'm
I think
getting a
maybe
I
I
think
little.
ought
that
to
makes
withdraw
sense.
my suggestion that you should like the bidet. But I think I've already convinced you that it's an interesting idea, and maybe someday your children or their children may use them.
So how are you framing this, Keeds? Like personal use or like the existence of a bidet as it being used by society as a good thing? Like what are we liking here? The existence
Well,
of a bidet?
I'm just thinking personally. I think
Okay.
certainly this is the most personal of all choices, and society can do what it wants. But if the opportunity came along where somebody said, "I will give you a bidet for your bathroom," I don't. I think I would say yes. Give me one. I'll take it and see what happens.
Brandon, click on why are bidets illegal?
I was just seeing that, and I didn't think that they were. The product they advertise as an easy install toilet seat bidet is illegal. This is categorized as high risk as back siphonage can occur through these nozzles, allowing contaminated water from the toilet bowl to be sucked into the potable or drinking water supply.
Oh my
Are
God.
these illegal?
Well, yeah, I assumed they were.
Is it like jaywalking where it's like it's illegal but people do it and
It's
kind of
illegal
look the other
in
way?
Australia at least. That's that's the source, right?
Oh, I wouldn't
That's
think
the source of this website. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think Australians would use bidets. They're more like Americans than,
They use their boomerang.
yeah, they.
What's the etiquette of using, like, Brandon, you went into someone's home and they had a
Yeah.
bidet and you didn't know what was going on with it, but like what would the etiquette be of using someone else's bidet? Like in in theory, I have no problem using someone else's toilet paper because I don't want to not wipe my butt. So
Right.
if you went into someone else's home and they don't have toilet paper, just the bidet, what I mean, are you gonna like stick your head out the door and be like, "Hey, can I get a quick tutorial
Mm.
so that I
I
can get
don't
my bottom
ever.
clean?"
I don't ever go into a situation where I'm not aware of the toilet paper supply. So I
That's the first
a
thing you do.
He does
I
always.
you go to a party, rumbles, and then you're like, "Excuse me, I need to go powder my nose," and you walk in there and you take a look before pants hit the floor. You look and see if there's toilet paper because bidet or no bidet. If you don't have a exit plan, you're in trouble. What do you do? You got to make sure that there's not only toilet paper but enough toilet paper to do the job that you are anticipating, right? If it's if we're talking diarrhea, you need half a roll at least, right? That to make sure that you don't have to start wiping on their curtains or something just to get by, just to get out of there gracefully. So, yeah, man, you look before you go. You look before you go. That's if there's one thing you ever learn from me, look before you poop. But if I were in that situation and I was like, okay, there's no toilet paper, but there is a bidet, I feel like I would have had to just kind of spray and see if I mean, it's kind of like the idea is that it's power washing it off of you, right? It's like,
Yeah.
so do you have to like arrange yourself in a way that, because I don't think it's not going back and forth like a sprinkler. It's like a singular spray. So you
do
have to move your.
you remain seated for
Yeah,
this?
I don't know how it works. I don't know yeah, like if I was faced with that situation, even if I wanted to use it, I might like not know exact. I no, it's not might. I wouldn't know what I was doing. I would be okay. I would assume that I'm like holding the button, and then I'm Shakirin the bottom clean.
Your hips don't lie. You're going to be writhing back and forth,
Yes.
trying to get it in the right spots. How do you know you've hit the right spots, right?
How do you know
You
you're
gotta go by
clean?
feel.
When you use toilet paper, you can look at the last wipe and say, "Oh, clean toilet paper. I'm done."
Yep.
The bidet, you're just assuming you're clean,
You're
unless there's a
assuming you're clean.
mirror or something to the back on the back of the toilet seat that you can look.
There's a little periscope that you pull down.
Yeah.
Looks good, fellas.
My current method works for me, but it's not as environmentally conscious as I would like it to be. And so the bidet is interesting to me because, I've got two small kids. We wipe bottoms all the time, and we have disposable, non-flushable wipes, which are the gold standard for poop removal in my book. But they're not the most environmentally conscious poop removal source. However, because they're in the bathroom, because that's where I need to support the children, they're there for me as well. And so I treat myself. And I also have found out the wipes, so they're Pampers, because Pampers is paying us. The Pampers box is next to the register. We have baseboard heat in our house, and it just has happened to got kicked, it got slid, it leaned against that. It's wintertime now, and those wipes are warm, guys, coming out of there. So it's like it's a treat. It's an absolute treat, and I feel clean. Use TP for gross removal, like just getting most of it out of the way, and then finish off with a wipe, and you're good to go. It's like shower level clean.
Sounds
Now,
excellent.
doesn't using the wipe after you've used toilet paper eliminate the reason for using the wipe? The wipe is supposed to be like, oh, this is the Cadillac of experiences, and it's gonna make you like super squeaky clean. And then, but you're in effect doing both, right? You're using the toilet paper just like at that first go, and then you're using the. It's kind of like mopping your floor and then doing a Swiffer on top.
I disagree. I think that the toilet paper is one cheaper per ply. I mean, like
Yeah.
per square. And so if I started with the wipes, I would be using multiple wipes to remove all of the stuff.
Right.
But the toilet paper, like there is a advantage to like the dry versus um, the 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 damp removal, right? So like
Yeah.
you get
Yeah.
you get a little bit of both with that.
Right.
I
Right.
th- I think not doing. I've tried going straight to the wipes and end up using more wipes. And
Mm.
so I think
I
that
can see that.
the wipe
Well,
gets all the fine particles out.
I assume the bidet water is not warm, so particularly in the winter, that may not be a pleasant feeling. So maybe you're getting clean, but it's a little bit of a shock too, like a cold shower. I mean,
It'd be
so
nice if it was warm. If it was
warm,
heated,
yeah. Maybe they do have that style.
you'd have to have it piped independently from the warm water source, though.
So I think
Right.
in Japan they do have like all kind like I've seen a picture of like a Japanese toilet, and it's like it looks like a treadmill, like with all of the different like incline functions and like different speeds and stuff like that, except for it's like you know cold water, warm water, the pressure. I feel like it's like a full service bidet that you get in Japan. So if you look on Amazon, I did look on Amazon like at the beginning of the pandemic, as quarantine began, and there was a fear that there was going to be a shortage on toilet paper, and what are we going to do? We start getting leaves out of the backyard or whatever. So it's like, okay, well maybe a bidet would make sense. And you couldn't find any because they were completely sold out everywhere. And I think that there are some really cheaper end ones, which are still like 50, $60, that are simply taps into the water valve that comes out of your wall into the tank, right? And then siphons off a stream that goes into the tube that like juts up into the bowl. But I think that there are some versions that have a little sort of basin that can be heated. Like, so if they're, and these are like $200 models or something like that. And, you can do that sort of like keeping it warmer.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I think I'm going to look at Amazon. See what the bidet situation is.
Thinking about that though, I mean, you wouldn't wanna cheap out on a bidet. I gotta think.
No, no.
I mean, you might not need like there's a there's a limitation to how much you're gonna spend on an attachment for your toilet, but thinking
But
like mid level.
yeah, you don't want to spend the lowest dollar on this. If it malfunctions, you're in for a lot of trouble.
I think it's how you
Yeah, look
think
at
about your sorry Brandon, but like I think it's how you think about your toilet time too, right? Like if you're I'm sure there are people that are like all business, like get in, get out, and move on with the day.
Yeah.
Toilet time is like an existential experience for me. It's like an important part of my rhythm as a person. So like I'd be willing to invest to make sure that I got the experience I wanted out of it.
Sure, that makes sense.
Go ahead,
However,
Brandon.
Yeah.
yeah,
Give
could
us
you
your sales
describe?
pitch.
Oh, you leave your clothes on? No, no,
You wear all white. This is
See,
from a
no one knows how to
utopian
use it.
future. Nobody knows how to use it.
this model
Oh
pod
my.
here.
She's like stepping on she's got like a mattress in front so that she can rest her feet. But you see there's
That's memory
it does
foam.
hook into the wall here, and it has these different valves that it looks like indicate the pressure of it from low to high. I don't
Right.
know what the other knob is. The
Well,
wash factor. There's a lot of stuff, man. There's a lot of stuff to factor in. But if you look at the prices here, $30, $260, $34. Not too
That one looks
expensive.
like that one looks like an iPhone.
Whoa, whoa, wait! Look at this! Look at this video here. There were a little. Oh my gosh! There's a lot involved here. You take the seat off completely, drill it in. I assume you have to turn off the water. Oh gosh,
Ooh.
that's high pressured. Do you see how high
Man.
pressure that is?
and it was
So
so.
for me
Go ahead.
personally, Dan, seeing that right there with the water just shooting out of the bowl,
Yeah,
that literally is going to fly in our house, and therefore
yeah,
won't fly with getting the
children.
bidet installed. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there are many
this is.
adults who could not manage that, let alone you have your children use that device.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would do
look
that.
at.
Like if I was at Brandon's family's house and I saw one of those
Yeah,
things, I'd probably be like, "Oh, what does this do? Woo!
Yeah,
Water's on
all
the
over the
wall."
place. Yeah,
yeah, this
this
isn't.
is.
I'm sorry, but I'm kind of turning away from the idea that this is a good thing. It's like another plumbing problem waiting to happen too.
Huge, yeah, yeah. And let's say, you have never used this before, and you don't know what the positioning is, and you sit down, and that thing soaks like the whole, back of your sweatshirt. You
Yeah,
got a business meeting, and everyone's wondering what's wrong with you. Yeah, that's a
exactly.
no go. That's no good.
Install seems
It's
rather simple, though. I mean, if we're going to be fair about that, like you don't have to be a plumber to
Well,
no,
hook
as
up a
far as the
bidet.
bath though, how does that? How did that exchange go with the thing that was in the wall coming into your toilet? How did you put the bidet in the middle of that? So
There's a splitter that
but you
they
have to.
turn they cut the water
Oh,
and then they unattached it from the
look
toilet
at the
and then they put
recklessness
that
of
splitter on
this.
there.
I think you need to take more care in the installation of this too. So they move so quickly and no quality control. They just can't wait to use it, I guess.
So
I
are there
I
any
gotta
child
think your
safety
doilies are
locks
gonna.
on these?
Oh, that's a good
Like
question.
there's got to be bidets with child locks.
Yeah,
I think if you're in a house sophisticated enough for the bidet, there you assume there's no children or your children are so refined that they just know how to do these things, because I can't imagine this going well in your house, Jeff, when you've got two young boys, curious minds, and a potential for disaster,
Potential
I,
for
complete
hilarity
mess.
one time, but then after
I
that,
do
yes.
know I do know an individual that has one of these. I believe in his home, and this person has a young child. And I've never heard of any negative feelings or thoughts about the bidet from this person.
Yeah.
They just sit the kid down and say, "Now, let's talk about respecting the bidet."
Yeah, This is not for your typical American child of the way kids are being raised now. With you guys know how it is.
Yeah, I don't do
Exactly.
anything. I just
Yeah, I know.
wake
Just
up
let
in the
them go.
morning, get
Let
my
them go
cereal,
wild.
say, "Hey, you gonna eat?" Then go on with my day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you need a glass of water before bed? Just go to the bidet.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
You can brush your
Well,
teeth too.
I think that's the convincing point right there.
You want a glass of water? Too bad. It's my water.
It's my water.
You pay for it.
I pay for the faucet water. You get the bidet water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go
I don't.
go out back, turn the sprinkler on.
That's the best solution. And I've just discovered if you put
Yeah.
hot tea in one of these Yetis, it stays hot forever.
hmm
You can't even drink it.
I think that's the basis of their whole marketing. I think it's like, hey man, you make your hot cocoa in the morning. You go work at the factory. By lunchtime, your soup is still warm. Your hot cocoa is still warm.
Not warm.
The
It's boiling hot.
piping
So
hot.
you got home by the end of the day, you'd still have your full mug of tea because you couldn't drink it. You have to pour it out into a teacup, let it cool down, then you can have your tea.
Yeah.
So
There's a demographic for like people that sip, which I am not in. I don't I don't consume anything slowly. So the
Even
idea
when
of
it's
trying
hot.
the only time I would use something like that is if I was, especially when it's hot. Um, the only time I would use something like that is if I was going to make it now and drink it in a couple of hours. So I might like, I have a Yeti upstairs because I got one as a gift. But if I'm using it, it's because I want to make a coffee, and then I also want to fill up a water bottle, and I want to put the coffee in the car, and I'm going to go on a drive, and I'm going to drink my water before I get to the coffee, or I'm going to drink the coffee after I eat because I can't put caffeine on an empty stomach, or I'll go, ugh. I know that's different than other people, but like when I get a glass of water, I mean, I filled this up before coming down here. Like within, I'm not drinking stuff over an hour.
Yeah.
And so if I've got a hot cup of coffee, I'm putting it in a mug where it's going to cool down pretty rapidly because as soon as it reaches that ideal temperature, I'm going to be I'm going to be drinking that within, I mean, 15 minutes max is what I'm going to spend on something. How I hydrate throughout the day, normally I forget to drink. So I'll go upstairs and I'll fill up a pint glass and I'll slam it down. I'll drink it all at once. And then I'll go back on with my day. And then later on in the day, I'll think, gosh, my head hurts. I must be dehydrated. Got to drink 2 pints of water real quick and just put it back in.
Mm.
I don't know that that's healthy necessarily, but I'm not, the summary is I'm not a sipper, and therefore keeping something in a cold or hot state for a long period of time usually isn't a necessity of mine, unless it's like, I'm not doing this now, I'm going to do it later.
Well, I'm not a hydrator at all, so I do have a coffee in the morning, and I usually drink about a half cup and then dump it out, and then I don't drink the rest of the day. So I'm always dehydrated, and uh, probably not good for me, but what the heck? What am I supposed to do? You can't force me to drink. I do the
Sleep and
best.
water, Dan. I learned I'm the same way. Like I'll forget to sleep, and I'll forget to drink water. But on days where I do a good job of slamming like 5 pint glasses and take a melatonin around 10 o'clock so that I can have a chance of getting to sleep before midnight. I do better on days like that.
Well,
But it's not
okay.
natural.
No,
And
that's not
You
the
know,
my kid's the same way. Like my oldest does not want to sleep. And I said, "Hey, the best thing I did was say, "Hey, I get it. I don't either." And like fight it. Like you have to go to sleep. It's your bedtime. It's your bedtime. And then actually rather recently I just started saying, "You are the same as me. I get it.
yeah.
I understand it. how can I help you? Because sleep is great, and I don't know why I hate it too.
Yeah, that's.
I learned it from watching you. Okay, Dad?
Well, you could just put him in that room and lock the door, give him some toys, and say whatever he wants to do, he can do. Then you can't make him sleep, obviously, and
Then the
I've
worst
been
thing to do is like to make yourself like if you sit in bed and say I gotta go to sleep, like you never
You're
will,
done.
right?
you can't do it.
You're done.
Are we supposed to comment on any comments we get, or um,
We
first of all,
are. Did we get any?
we've got
Oh,
two. Well, one
my
is a call out
goodness.
to one of us, and the other is
Here we
the same
go.
topic I raised when I first saw Jeff today. It's a hair.
That's right. That's
His hair is making this very successful endeavor today.
quite a splash. Quite a
As they
splash.
say, I
And
think we're not trending. What's that? We're viral. Jeff's hair is
we
viral.
are viral.
That's what they say about every
Jeff's
story
hair.
in the news. It's viral. That means it's important.
It's a home haircut too.
Is it?
Anyone in the league that wants to get lined up like me can come by.
Not anyone, Jeff.
We charge $500 a pop for
Not anyone
for
can
these
have that
haircuts.
hairstyle, but I wish I could.
So, it is time for an awkward transition. Our viewer Nikki says here, "Are you guys trying to make me like getting older because it's not working yet?" Probably because she looks at these three faces here, these six sad eyes, and says, "No, thank you. You guys are not selling a getting older
We've got
for me."
well over 100 years of between the three of us here. I mean, I take up
Yeah.
60% of that or more, but no, I don't think we're trying to make anyone feel not to want to get older.
Oh, the sleep discussion.
She was talking about the sleep. Yes. Not being able to sleep and being dehydrated and all of that business. Yeah. That's tough. That's tough because you get to a certain point. I don't know if this is age specific because I feel like I've always been cognizant of this, but you wake up, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. You're like, oh my gosh, if I don't get back to sleep right now, then I'm only going to get 3 hours before I have to get up and go to work and blah, 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 blah. And then that pressure and anxiety on it makes it so difficult for you to get back to sleep that it's like this vicious cycle that keeps going and going and going. And then I've learned that you just do something. You put on a podcast and listen to the podcast, and if you fall asleep, great. If not, at least you listened to Conan O'Brien talk to Elmer Fudd or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely think the sleep problem is from 0 to age on up because some people just have a knack for falling asleep quickly and staying asleep, and other people don't. Sometimes if you have a sleeping issue when you're younger, it's worse when you're older, but I wouldn't think it's just an age. It's not just related to age. So easy out there, Nikki. We're not talking about old people's issues here.
That's right. And Jeff, you mentioned melatonin. I've tried it a couple of times. I found that it did a good job of helping me fall asleep quickly at times, but it wasn't as good as sustaining the sleep or preventing me from waking up like in the middle of the night or whatever. Is that align with your experience?
I'm fortunate in that I don't have a problem staying asleep. Once I'm asleep, I once slept through the wooded lot next to my childhood home being on fire, and 3 fire trucks showing up with like spotlight, like floodlights everywhere, and I was the only one in my home to wake up in the morning and wondering why it smelled like roasted hot dogs.
Yeah.
So I'm a heavy sleeper. I just am not good at turning my brain down at the end of the night, and it really easily will get to be 2, 3 in the morning, and I haven't gone to sleep yet. And so melatonin helps me in that. Like, I found exactly what you found. It will help me to go to sleep, and
It'll calm the mind enough to allow you to fall asleep, and then once you're there, you're pretty good because you're sound sleeper. Mr. Keedy, how about you? Do you have any problems falling asleep? I know you've got the CPAP machine, so there's like preparation that you have before you can actually go to sleep. But once you decide, hey, I'm going to sleep, and whether that's 7 p.m. or before or after Jeopardy, I don't know. But how do you? What's your experience like?
Let's get a couple of things straight. I don't watch Jeopardy. Excuse me. Although I have, and I go to bed typically now around 10 o'clock, which is much later than I used to go to sleep. I do use melatonin. I don't know if it works or not, but I like it to think of it as having a little snack. Because I use the gummy variety, and I look forward to that snack before bedtime. Two tablets.
It's a little treat. It's a little gummy treat before you sleep.
It's a treat. I've always been a light sleeper, so I'm still a light sleeper. And if I get to sleep, I'm going to be awake at some point. And it's unfortunately now I find it hard to get back to sleep. So since daylight savings time, in fact, I've been getting up. My earliest time was 4 o'clock. I get up and go downstairs and start my day, but I'm getting up around 4, 5, 6 o'clock at the latest every day, and I'm retired, so I don't have to go to work, but I'm up before a lot of people who do go to work, I believe. But it's not terrible, but staying up later has helped me, I think, feel like I've gotten more rest, even though I'm getting up earlier. So
you feel more rested when you get up earlier.
Yeah, I do, because if I've gone to sleep later, and then I think I've gotten a more solid block of sleep if I've gone to bed later, even though I'm getting up earlier. Do you
ever have the experience where you get more sleep than you usually do, and you wake up and you feel more tired than if you would have just gotten 5-6 hours? I
have, and I don't like it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like, oh, that was so great. I am so rested, and it feels like I've missed something and I did something wrong, and I haven't had that feeling in a long, long time because I've been an early riser now for a long time, but I can remember that feeling. I don't sleep in. I wish I could sometimes, but my dog gets me up although she'll sleep. If I get up at 4, she's ready to get up. If I get up at 6, she's ready to get up. But I think she's got it better than any of us because I think she has a good night no matter what. No matter what time she goes to bed or gets up, she's just, plus she can sleep whenever she wants during the rest of the day.
That's the life of a dog. Well, but you can too.
I could.
As a retired person.
Yeah, it's allowable. And I take naps, not lie down naps. I take naps in a chair. I don't want to. My wife would frequently say, "Why don't you go upstairs and take a nap?" I'm thinking, I'm not going to go upstairs. That's where you go to bed. If I fall asleep in my chair, that's fine. But I'm not going upstairs. I mean, that's for losers.
That's for bums. Bums got to walk upstairs. Oh, Mr. Keedy, we don't say that. We don't say that.
Just talking about my wife. She'll go upstairs and take a nap. She'll get up sometimes at 9 o'clock in the morning, and at 10 she'll go up for a nap. So,
you know what? You both have earned it. You both have worked for most of your lives, and you've now reached the point where you can do whatever you want. If someone says, hey, we're having a dinner party and we'd like to have you guys over, and you don't really like that person, you can just say, no, thank you.
Thanks. That's the best thing about COVID is I've missed a couple of weddings. Other people have gone, but I just stick to my guns. We can't go to that wedding. It's COVID. And I'm really happy with this whole experience of not having to do anything because of COVID. Even though I'm a safe person, I don't want to do anything stupid, but now I don't. We had people say to us last summer, what's wrong with you guys? Aren't you having any fun? Because we weren't getting together with all the other old people. We said we're having plenty of fun, but we're not going to, hang out and get sick. So.
I know I'm not going to make either of you like this, but I think that this whole experience has helped me to do is, yes, it started off as I liked the bright side of all of this, being able to say, well, I can't because there's a disease killing everyone, so I shouldn't. Yeah. I have just I've stopped giving reasons why.
You don't have to.
So I do you want to go to my wedding? No. I don't. Not coming.
And that's been since the pandemic?
Because yeah, I mean, there's been a bit of that in me the whole time, but like I think normalizing telling people what you're going to do without feeling like there has to be some big like there's a certain bar of legitimacy that right. needs to be achieved in order for you to make a decision. I think it's healthy, and it's easier, and in the end I think most people are cool with it. Like I think it's the person that is making excuses that is actually going through the most trauma with the person with that decision. Yeah. I don't know how the two of you feel about that, but I think most people are okay hearing no without a reason, and if they're not,
right,
they probably don't deserve a reason anyway, because they're not kind and understanding people if they're going to make a big deal out of it.
I totally agree, Jeff, and I like the idea that the rest of our lives we can just continue to say no to everything. I'm thrilled with that, and I hope that means that we're doing that when times are safe and everyone's healthier, and we can still just say, heck no, I don't want to do that, and no one's going to care. They better not. I don't care if they care. But.
Yeah, that's true.
I doesn't mean that I don't care about you,
right?
Like it just means I don't want to do that on that day, or anything. And don't throw in a like maybe we could do something, blah blah blah. Like maybe we could do. Let's try to hook up and do something like that's implied. Yeah, like no. Brandon says, hey. Let's go play basketball at Rucker Park. I say, nah, nah.
I never had more.
Say, what are you afraid of the challenge?
It's windy out today.
Yeah, you don't want to.
I developed my respect for Brandon the first time I heard him say, I didn't do a damn thing last weekend. We never left the house, and I loved it. And I thought, that's a good man. That's someone I can respect. He doesn't feel like he has to make excuses like, oh, we didn't do this. You don't have to do that. It's okay to stay home. Hey, do whatever you want.
That was years ago. That was years before COVID-19, right?
Probably 15 years ago.
Maybe, but that was in my early 20s. But I think if anything has come from the quarantine era, the pandemic period, is setting healthy boundaries, right? And I think before I would tell you and say like I didn't leave the house and it was wonderful and so good, And some other people might be like, oh man, you're not living your life. You're whatever they want to say about it. But I think now more than ever, setting boundaries has been normalized, and we don't really have to give a reason, because you kind of assume the reasons right now. Say like, hey, oh, were you going to this social event? It's like, no, we're not going to go to that. And I think everything you need to know is in that reply, right? So there isn't as much prying and prodding and like, oh, come on, man. It's like, what do you got going on better than that stuff? And I think people are just accustomed to accepting that now, and knowing that everyone is at different comfort levels, and everyone has different sense of what they want to do with their time. So that's that's a good thing that's come. Healthy boundaries, being able to set them, and that's
right.
If we're talking about good things that have come from the past year and a half, I think that's a good thing.
What's hand in hand with that is like you say, setting healthy boundaries, right? Like what I hear in that is like folks getting in touch with their agency that they have in situations. Like, you don't owe anything to anyone. You want to take a day off of work, take it off, because that's your time. You don't have to explain to anyone why you're using your time to do what you're doing. Like you don't want to go to family Christmas? Say, I don't want to go. Or don't even have to say that. You say, we've decided not to come.
All you have to do is say, send my presents to the house. You don't have to say you don't have to tell them you're not coming. Just tell them, if you got me anything, just send it on over and be happy with that.
Yeah.
Here's my
Amazon wish list.
Put it in your Amazon
wish list.
Make it your primary address. Send all your stuff to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's fine.
It doesn't have to be a one-time thing. Just
that's the legacy of COVID.
That's right.
Amazon definitely is the legacy of COVID.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
big time.
Big time. Do you guys do shout-outs?
Do we do shout-outs? We're certainly open to it. You want to do a shout-out?
Well, I want to do a shout-out to Nikki for listening in. I sort of imagine she's maybe the only one. I think that's really nice of her to take the time to do that. And I want to
we have three viewers at least right now.
Okay,
so
for the other two of you, hey, thank you guys. A shout out to Peter and Bruno. Oh, I didn't mean Bruno. I meant Justin and the other Justin and.
I thought you were going to just retract it.
Rusty, the Google employee, Rusty. Say hi. Shout out to him.
Yeah.
So.
None of whom are watching or will probably ever find this video, but we like to put goodwill out in there.
I have watched a few of your episodes, never live. This first time live, but the other times, sometimes it go on a long time, so I couldn't watch the whole thing. But I want to say I enjoyed listening to you guys, and I think you often have some good thoughts, and content is interesting. So I appreciate that you put yourself out there a year ago when you were doing this a little more regularly, right? That one, you started then maybe 3 years ago or so?
Maybe.
I think I was still working.
I think it's more.
I think it was 2018 when you started, because I remember hearing about it around the workplace. So, that's
maybe
3 years ago. So, congratulations on your anniversary and many more years to come.
We've done less than 30 in that span.
We've done less than 30. We've got a healthy
over quantity.
23.
Yeah.
Quality over quantity. Yeah. We'll work for one of those two tenets.
Whichever one works for you. Yeah.
Mr. Keedy.
That's right.
Do Do you know? So you've never listened to the end.
No.
So you so you probably don't know how the ends go.
No, I always wondered, like I'm supposed to try to make you like bidets, and
Yeah.
I figure we probably talked that subject to death,
So
hours
bring the
ago.
question back up.
All
Bring
right,
the
here we
question
go.
back
All
up.
right.
Oh,
All right,
all
here we
right.
go. Here we go. Wait, hold on 1 second. 1 second. Watch this. You like that? That's
I
fancy.
do.
That's like
Wow.
MTV stuff. Look at
This
that.
is like being on Channel 6 or something. Sort of
I'm on the
circle back
local
around. Do
news.
you guys now love the idea of a bidet and exploring it further? Making a field trip to Brandon's uncle's house or to someplace in Dearborn that we all know lives with a bidet in his
Yeah.
Colonial Avenue house. I don't know if that's it.
I'm
But
getting way too specific. Yeah, I'll speak for myself and say that I'm open to the idea of trying it out. There's a reason that everyone who has one swears by it, right? Nobody's returned one, I don't think. I don't even know if they could return one with cleanliness
Amazon
and
takes everything back, so they'll take it back.
Right. I think the potential for disaster is a little bit scary, but my kids are a little bit older, and I could reason with them and say, "Hey, once you're old enough, you can explore the satisfaction of a squeaky clean rectum, and learn how to use this responsibly." I think for Jeff, it's a little bit more difficult with youngsters who may abuse it, on occasion. So I think that and as we pulled them up on Amazon, seeing that they're really not that expensive,
Yeah.
I'm open to it. So I'll say thumbs up. Yes, I like the idea of getting and trying a bidet. Jeff,
Wonderful.
how about
Yeah.
you?
It seems like the bidet talk comes around the sex and alcohol talk. Is that how it goes in Brandon's household?
Oh, you mean with kids?
It
Yeah,
sounds
with
like
kids.
it goes hand in hand. Yeah.
Yeah. Sit down, children. We're gonna talk about the golden three.
Yeah.
Yes. We're going to talk about doing it. We're going to talk about booze, and we're going to talk about the fancy little water fountain that lives in our toilet.
Yeah.
You're now ready.
Once you
Here
hit
we
middle
go.
school, you're ready for all three of those discussions.
I began after at the point that Dan said proposed the question. I thought, yeah, I like bidets. And throughout the conversation, I progressively liked them less.
Once we got into the logistics.
Once we really opened up the hood and started exploring all the commitments that I would be making and the damage that would be done to my house, I was not interested. Strangely enough, and this might speak a lot to me as a human, I might be more willing to try someone else's bidet than install my own. Yeah.
Well,
I don't like bidets would be my final answer.
okay. I respect your opinions, and I'd like to just reiterate, I was just waffling around the subject myself. I'm not sure I like them. I don't know if I dislike them, but I think I have a lot more. I have a lot more to learn about bidets, and I'm looking forward to that, the exploration. Something to look forward to in the next few years.
That's right. You let us know. I want you to circle back with us and let us know how that research goes. Comment from the stream. I'm sad I missed the first part of the conversation with Mr. Keedy talking about bidets. I'll have to go rewatch it. Rewatch it you shall, because it was some interesting ideas and thoughts that started off as, hey, I think this is a good idea and I want you to like this, to, I don't know a ton about it and I'm not so sure myself. So this is a full circle moment where we're thinking about what we're going to do with our
I'm
lives
certainly
and our bottoms.
gratified to know that I could bring up this subject and both of you, first of all, knew what it was. Because in some company, you might get blank stares. But I knew you guys would sail with it, and you knew far more than I thought. And the fact that Brandon and his family, there's a bidet by one of the family members, that's pretty exciting right there. So,
Yeah.
Jeff, was
That's
that
right. Is that the sign for hoity-toity?
Pinky's out. Yeah.
Pinky's out. Yeah. Yeah. Jeff
drink your warm
lived
beverage.
in Europe. Jeff lived in Europe for a little while, so
I know.
I'm
He lived in
surprised
England,
you
I
haven't had
believe.
some
Yeah.
I've been in a
some
loo or
bidet
two.
experiences. Been in a loo.
Hello. Yeah.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, Mr. Keedy, we appreciate you joining us, blessing us with your presence and your pinky finger, whatever you're doing. Thank you
the
for
invitation. I enjoyed it.
yeah. Anytime. We
Nice to see your
love
faces. Yeah. Invite me
to hear
again.
your wisdom.
I'll probably say yes. I usually have nothing to do on any day. So,
Okay. Think of something that you're really passionate about, that you have a lot of experience with and data surrounding, and you can kind of berate us and make sure that we do change our minds about something.
sure, I'll do that.
And it can't be Seinfeld, because that ship
No.
has sailed.
It wouldn't be Seinfeld.
What's Seinfeld?
All right, good. On that note, thank you to everyone who watched this. Thank you to Jeff. Thank you to Mr. Keedy. We'll talk to you later.
Hey, I love you. I love you guys, and I love our listeners and your
Likewise.
family.
Thank you.